Hello and welcome to another episode of LiveStyles. This is a real-time live talk show covering everything from beauty to your social media is on the internet in order to make it fun. Now, if you've been hanging out in the live stream for a while, thank you for your patience. We have so much technology that we're still testing out, you guys, and it is a work in progress, but we appreciate you being here because let me tell you this. We are streaming in horizontal formats on YouTube. We are also in vertical formats on Instagram, on TikTok. We are on all platforms and on my own personal channels as well. So make sure you guys are following us at LiveStyles today because we are talking a lot about some lines in the entertainment industry, my own thoughts about them. And then we're going to go into a fun Would You Rather wellness edition because it's about to be summertime. People are starting to care about their health and I want to know what your preferences are. Lastly, don't worry about my arm. I have an arm. I just forgot we're in front of a green screen and there's a little bit of green in my arm. So don't worry. It's still there. It's still there. I'm okay. But the other thing we asked from you guys earlier this week was we put a poll up on our YouTube channel. So our poll was talking about the fact that there are a ton of new season premieres in television this month. So I'm excited because I'm not a big TV watcher, I will say. I kind of use TikTok as my TV, but that's why it's my job, you know, to bring you all the news of TikTok. But if premiere's coming, I'll get into a little bit of that coming up soon over on Netflix. How you do it. All you have to do is comment 1, 2, 3, or 4 of what show you're most excited to see. So we're going to get the polls up in a little bit here. Let's see. All right, here's our poll. So I want to know what show you guys are most excited to see. Comment 1 if you're excited to watch Squid Game, 2 for The Gilded Age, 3 for Love Island USA, or 4 The Bear. Again, this poll we'll leave up for most of the show. We're going to check back in later because we might be talking about some of these shows you are most excited to see. Comment into me, it pops up here on my screen, and I can talk with you in real time. So don't be shy, say hi, and let me know all of your thoughts throughout it for Squid Game. Interesting. Fun fact too, I've actually never seen Squid Game. I watched the Squid Games, but not wait, no, was it called the Squid Games? You know, the reality show that they did? That one was pretty cool. Haven't seen Squid Game yet, but maybe this might be my chance for season 3. But Mary is going to be watching Squid Game. I need to tell you guys all about what's trending in pop culture this week. So it's always a big news in music, movies, and television, but I'm bringing you the 4 top headlines that we saw in pop culture this week. Are you guys ready? I want to hear from you in the comments of what you think of each of these items. Pop news item. In celebrity news, Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson have called it quits after 8 years together. And they say this time, it's final. Now, sources say that it was an amicable breakup and they just kind of drifted apart. But Dakota is most sad to be spending less time with Chris Martin on a scale of half of us thought this relationship was going the distance and half of us could have seen this coming. But let me know in the comments right now what you guys think of this breakup from a scale of 1 to 10 of how and didn't breach serial lists stars Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal, where Dakota Johnson plays an ambitious matchmaker in New York City who gets into a leaders June 13th. And let me know in the comment piece of news here. Producer Jack Antonoff. So you know it has his classic style of pop synth disco vibes. Now, the music video, which is incredible, viral on X and got more views than the funny lyrics roasting an ex about her most recent ex, Barry Keoghan, but it's more of the embody that it won this new single where it's starting to sound the same. Like she put them in a blender and it's spitting out the same formula. I think both are true. I think it sounds like Sabrina Carpenter single. Either way, you can stream her pop culture. In theater news, Tom Felton will be reprising his role as Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, the story of this play and Draco dropped musicals and stage plays. It gets here soon. But what's even crazier that I haven't seen history. So we're excited because Draco, or I should say Tom, is the same age as his character, being a dad in this Draco Malfoy role. So they're excited to see him come back. Character, coattails for forever. But age production. In our last pop culture headline on Love Island was in the villa. Slurs in a recent podcast. So production of the internet praised production for taking such swift action. But other people were saying, shouldn't you guys be doing background checks? I don't know about that. But Love Island has just started. And actually, Nikki, our poll. So does our poll here. Now it looks like The Gilded Age is in the lead. Now you guys can vote again, you can change your mind here. So somebody who had voted Squid Game before, now it's the Gilded Age here. So go ahead and comment 1 if you're most excited to see the Squid Game, 2 for the Gilded Age, 3 for Love Island USA, or 4 for The Bear. We're going to check back in this poll a little bit later, but all of these shows will be premiering this June on different streaming platforms. So depending on what you're excited to see, there is a lot of television content coming your way. But those were your pop culture be hearing from you guys. So we asked you guys over on our social media pages, what is your fashion hot take? What is your controversial opinion when it comes to style, when it comes to fashion, and why do you think that way? So we've gathered some of your comments, and I'm actually going to be reacting to them and telling you if I agree with your hot you're comfortable in, whatever makes you feel like you express yourself, wear it, have fun. So now that I got that disclaimer out of the way, I can be honest about some of these fashion trends that give me the ick. You should be following us on social media. So go ahead and follow us at livestyles.tv. We are on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and we're on YouTube. So you can catch all. So go ahead and make sure to click follow. It's a live show. I can see your comments. At least that's why we're testing all this out. And that's all right. Let's hop into the first fashion hot take. Let me set my cards down. All right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to hear what you guys think. And that's one of my TikToks. So I think that Crocs are comfy. So Crocs a hard time and they think that they're ugly. I personally think that Crocs, I don't know, they're like the golden retriever of shoes. They're loyal and they're kind of quirky looking and they're just here for a good time, but I would go crazy for those. Their style, Crocs are cute. In my opinion. That is my hot take because I asked my sister for some of her hot takes, and one of the first things with this fashion hot take. So that was let's see what you guys had to say. Says that low-rise jeans are superior in about low-rise jeans. Personally, I think that they need to stay in the past because the only thing that low-rise jeans bring me is the low-rise jeans. But what's similar answer over on Instagram, where Jamie Noel on Instagram says that low-rise jeans can stay in the 90s. So we have 1 vote for love it, 1 vote for hate it. So already people, you can tell that this is a hot take, this is a controversial opinion if people have the differing opinions. My opinion is I'm going to stay in the skinny was the fashion instead of the jeans, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, let's check out our next fashion hot take. Ooh, these are already getting spicy. So our next fashion hot Maggie, this one that I carry over your chest. I don't know, maybe because I was out bar hopping. I go bar hopping in WeHo here, and phone theft is a big thing. If you keep your phone in your pocket, it's not going to be there at the end of the night. Your baggage, your boarding pass, and your ID back, and now I'm incorporating it more into it's one of my favorite things. But thank you for commenting, Maggie. I do appreciate that. All right, moving on to our next fashion hot take. Ooh, these are getting interesting. I was like, I don't know about all this, you guys. We'll see how this goes. And I will say with the fanny pack, you get sporty ones, you can get colorful. Your fashion hot takes, I don't mean to roast you guys. Fashion hot take, which comes from Instagram. Lil Asian Sponge says, corduroys are a vibe. This one is an agree. I just wore corduroy pants yesterday to an event. I love corduroys. I used to only think that they were good for fall. I love the texture to them. I think it adds a little bit of zhuzh to an outfit because of that texture. And I think that corduroys what it is. And I want to hear from Icy. But corduroys, I absolutely think should stay in season for forever. Oh, it was Icy. Hey, Icy. Icy says hello. I can see your guys' comments, so make sure you're commenting below and letting me know what you think of some of these hot takes. But Lil Asian Sponge, I agree. Corduroys are a vibe. They're timeless, and we should be wearing these instead of low-rise jeans. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Let's take a look at our next fashion hot take. All right. And again, if you guys want to sound off in the comments and tell me some of yours that aren't being mentioned, let me know. If you had asked me this question when I was in high school, it would have felt like a knife to my heart because this was all I wore in high school. This was the vibe. I was in that pop punk emo phase, and skinny jeans were the fashion statement. But nowadays, I am going to have to agree. Skinny jeans are ugly, and I feel like when you do see them, they're so obviously difficult to style nowadays. And I think it's so interesting seeing how style really is cyclical because you know these are coming back in a couple of years. But to me, skinny jeans, it's so funny when I'm scrolling on TikTok and I see people going, here's how. But if the style girlies are struggling to make this trendy and cool, I'm going to have to agree with you, Annabelle. Skinny jeans are ugly. But if there are any skinny jean fans out there, if there's anyone who, guys, wear whatever makes you the wrong one, agree with you, but I agree with what you're saying. So here's my opinion. I hate ballet flats. I think they make you look like a little girl. I think there's something like juvenile about them. But then also every time I wear ballet flats, they're really uncomfortable. Like there's not enough support in them. I feel like I'm almost wearing slippers. I'm not a big fan of them, especially ones like in this photo where and I am loving the trend right now of that braid, more visual interest, but also doesn't feel, because you said the trend right now. So if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you guys what you think of ballet flats and if you agree with Jamie from Instagram. Kind of interesting to see how that works, but we have our next fashion hot take comes from Happy as Maggie on TikTok, who says, luxury purses are a waste of money. To Paris, where we went shopping for like some luxury bags. And to me, I'm one of those people where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd rather have the money than the purse. I was like, I'm awful with my purses. I'm throwing them on the ground, $1,000 on a bag. So if you've got the money for it, bought my first designer bag recently. I was in Cape Time, something ever truly spoke to that moment. I was like, oh, I get it. You know, you don't have it. Oh, I think they're a waste of money, but you think. I see over to blow the bag. And to some people, that's a trip. To some people, it's a designer purse. And I feel like at least with the purse, you get to have it for forever. You can pass it on to your kids. You get to thank you for that comment over on TikTok. And I think that may have been our last hot take. Yes, that was our last hot take. So thank you guys for sharing your styles on all polls. I need your guys' help if you need to, because we're going to be doing some polls about the wellness industry. Let me grab my cards. Let me tell you about this, you guys. So, on to our next segment. You can get rid of this segment. I'm going to be talking about spring trends here. Crushing it. You know what? We're working with it. All right, you guys. Of course, summer is coming up, and a lot of people are starting to think about their summer bodies and how they can best prepare for it. Now, I don't think summer bodies are real. I think everybody has a summer body. Everybody has a bikini body because you have a bikini body. But it's definitely that time of the year where people, they start considering their health a little bit more. And on LiveStyles earlier this year, we actually did it. How are you doing on that New Year's resolution? You guys, have you lost your weight? Have you eaten more vegetables? Let me know. But since everybody is trying to get healthier this year, that wellness edition, here's how it's going to. You guys to comment which one you'd prefer. And to do that, all you need is at home to participate. Sauna, don't worry, what do you think? So again, comment this or that. The first dual lineup of these is going to be, would you rather, your mind here. So with a yoga class, this obviously can increase your flexibility and lower your cortisol. So it basically stretches your body and your emotion for me, but I still would prefer us. And you can probably yell at the instructor because the music in some of those classes can be so loud. I like the spin classes, but I think I'd prefer to take a yoga class. So it looks like we're a little divided here. Icy is thinking the yoga class. Nick is thinking the spin class, which is the class I went to. So I went to this yoga class, and I'm over and give me modifications. And she said, hey, noted. So last chance, get your answers in. I think the winner for this round of Would You Rather Wellness Edition is going to be that spin class. Classes you can take this summer. I definitely recommend ClassPass, which is where you can kind of buy packs for different types of workout classes. To our next this or that, and we're going to reset the polls, and you guys can vote again. Thanks to Max and Icy in the comments. Appreciate you guys. So now, and the getting as much caffeine shake. So which one are you guys thinking? This for pre-workout or that for post-workout? Either one. I think you can't really take pre-workout after. In this case, we're going to do pre-workout and post-workout protein shake. Now for protein powder, I feel like with one scoop, you are suddenly reorganized. I never took it. I ran 3 and I almost went to the hospital because my heart was beating so fast that I gave myself a panic attack. However, once I got the right dosage right, I did like my pre-workout. Now, when it comes to protein shakes post-workout, drinking protein within 30 minutes of your workout helps with muscle recovery. So it's basically like a little fruit reward. I tried this protein powder, and then that night I had these crazy stomach cramps and I literally thought my insides were falling out. I almost went to the hospital again. Wow, maybe it's my body. To weigh. So I am still on the, I want to make sure I'm getting the most out of my workout. And after the workout, that's when I kind of want to eat pizza and reward myself and not drink the protein. But looks like you guys are divided. Nick is thinking pre-workout, Icy is thinking protein shake. But let me know in the comments which one you guys would prefer when it comes to after your yoga class or spin class. Most out of your workout, whether it's protein shakes or whether it's fun, we're gonna call a tie. So whatever floats your boat. Let's check the next would you rather this or that. And again, all you have to do to play at home is comment this or that workout. I want to know, would you guys prefer a sauna or an ice bath? Comment this for sauna or comment that for the benefits of cardio, which is bath. This lowers inflammation and it speeds recovery. So it kind of just makes you feel like an action hero when you do an ice bath. And I like the ice bath. I like the feeling that it gives me. But it's really hard. Ice baths do feel like I get a lot of recovery from an ice bath. Maybe it's all in my head. But if I were to choose, I would choose this. I prefer I only lead with 80%. Nick said ice bath. So Nick might be the outlier here in terms of getting that cold energy in terms of muscle recovery. But looks like the winner of this health and wellness, this or that, is going to be the sauna. So if you guys like sweating it out, have fun this summer because it is good for circulation and boosting that heart health. All right, our last item in our Would You Rather Health Edition. Again, last chance here. I need to hear from you guys. Now, this is all about technology. So much of the health and wellness industry has evolved because of technology. So I want to know, when it comes to wearing your fitness tech, are you an Oura Ring person or an Apple Watch? More trendiness with some of these rings going on. So with your recovery as well. I kid how it looks like you have a jewelry, but your hand. And this one will literally buzz on your wrist. Technological version of your mom Apple Watch, because it doesn't have as big of a screen. I don't like being as tuned in to my phone on my Apple Watch. I feel like my Fitbit, it still gets my text messages in, but people know that, like, hey, I know you're ignoring my text. It buzzed on your wrist. Like, you can't ignore me on here. So oopsies, my bad. So I'm team watch for right now. And I also like having the concept of time on my hand. I do think that the Oura Rings, but I'm waiting to get 80% fitness expert joining us, who is going to be telling us all about the best fitness trackers that are trending right now. So make sure you guys are subscribed to catch that future episode so we can learn more about some of these fitness trends from an actual professional. I'm just giving you my opinions. I was like, I exercise, but like, not that much. But those were some of our wellness, this or that trends. Thank you guys for participating in the comments. Again, we're testing out some of these polls. We're testing out a few interactive options and a few cool real-time live elements. So a little behind today because we have so much technology here, but the show is evolving. The show is really getting, I don't know, I'm really proud of the show. I'm really proud of Nick over in the booth. We've been working really hard over here to try to bring in these cool elements, and we just want to take you guys along for the ride. So you can follow me and catch the live replay streams. You can catch clips of the show over on social media, and you can catch up on anything that you may have missed. And I see Steven, that just means you need to join us on a Father's Day episode. So to make sure that you guys can be a part of the polls beforehand, to be a part of all of the fun little commentary that we have on there. Oh, I also forgot to tell you, I did the, I'll tell you now, on the yoga and the spin class part, I asked you guys before the show even starts, make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. Again, that's at LiveStyles.tv on TikTok, you guys. So make sure to follow me there and tune in for future episodes. We have another poll coming your way. So again, make sure to check in on that poll on YouTube so you guys can participate. But I also wanted to wish everybody out there a happy right now. So wishing everybody out there a happy Pride. And don't forget, Father's Day is coming up soon. So make sure to make plans with your dad. Make sure to get the show with your dad because we're excited to see you guys. But I thank you guys so much. We will see you in the next show. Toodles!